Atlas Shrug 383, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about dirty guns. I've been shooting this morning a little bit with my son, and we just got back from the range, and we shot these three pistols this morning. What we've got here on the bench is my Pietta 1858 Remington with a brass frame, 44 caliber. It's the full-size Army edition. I have another Pietta here, and this one is a commemorative edition, Confederate commemorative edition. It's supposed to emulate a Confederate Colt clone of the Navy, such as Griswold and Gunnison. And this is my newest pistol. I just bought it a short while ago, and I have a separate video on it. Shot really well. Long story short, the grips were something I wasn't happy with out of the box. These are just a cheap plastic grip, and I wish they were wood, but the gun shot really well. And then I have a Ruger Mark I pistol. This is an original Mark I pistol from the 1950s, and it shot really well too. Really, really well. I was super happy with the Ruger. My son really likes this gun. Test fired this pistol when I first bought it, and it had a few jams. And I thought, I'm not sure about this thing. But I cleaned it really, really good. And we shot it a bunch today. I'm not sure how many rounds we put through it, but it was a bunch. I would say probably 70, 80 rounds. We just had a blast shooting this thing, and it never jammed once. Every shot it fired was perfect. We even did some rapid fire shots with this thing, and I'm really glad I found this. So the topic is dirty guns today. And we'll just put this aside. This is a modern pistol, and I'm going to clean it. But I want to talk about these two in particular. There are different schools of thought here with these two pistols. And a lot of people really like the Remington style frame. The Remington frame is a full frame. You have the barrel is screwed into the main frame here. Very, very strong design with a top strap. And the frame actually comes down. This is all one piece inside. Inside the, you've got the grips that screw onto the frame. But this is a really strong frame. And a lot of people like this. And a lot of people see the Remington as a superior design to the older Colts. The Colts are open top. They don't have a top strap. And they have a three-piece frame. The barrel and loading lever assembly is a separate part from the main frame. It's held by a wedge. It's got a wedge that holds it to the main frame. And the grip frame is also a separate part. The grip frame screws into the main frame. You see the two screws from the back. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's a three-part frame. In order to remove the cylinder from a Colt or Colt copy or what have you, you have to remove the wedge, pop off the barrel assembly, and then you can remove the cylinder. And it's much easier to remove the cylinder from a Remington because you don't have to take anything apart. And I'm going to talk about that a little more. Let me change my angle here. Hey guys, changed my angle because I need to use my hands a little bit. So both of these guns, we fired them a bunch today. The one that quit working the fastest was the Remington, and I'm going to explain why. The Remington design is really cool, as I previously mentioned, all one-piece frame, very strong. But these are black powder guns. Black powder is very, very dirty. Very, very dirty. It gums and gunks up. It's different properties than modern smokeless powder, which you cannot shoot from these, by the way. So you have to use a black powder or black powder substitute when you fire a cap and ball gun. But this one quit working, and I'm going to show you why. It gummed up on us. By the time I realized it was starting to get dirty, the cylinder was starting to get really funky, and then I couldn't remove the cylinder to clean it. To remove the cylinder, you drop the loading lever, and there's a pin right here. And this pin I unstuck it. I couldn't get this unstuck at the range. The pin pulls out, and then you can pop the cylinder out the side. It's still hanging up a little bit in there. There we go, after a little struggle. See, look how, can you see that? That's very, very dirty. It's very black. So the cylinder spins on this axis point here, this pin that slides in and out. This got so gunked up, I couldn't pull the pin at the range, and that's why we had to quit shooting it. It gunked up so bad, I couldn't pull this out anymore. You have to be really careful with this. It will break. I've seen these break. The ends will break off of them, and then you're really up the creek because you can't pull the pin out easily anyway. So this one quit working the fastest. A lot of people really like the Remingtons, you know, because you can pop these cylinders in and out so easily. You see the tiny hole there for the axis for the pin that it rotates around. When you're shooting these, before you go to the range, you want to lubricate this pin as best you can. It's still going to get dirty, but you're going to need to lubricate it. Powder fouling, look at that. I mean, it'll turn your finger black. It gets down around this pin, and once that starts to gum up, then you're out of business. Another place they get dirty is in behind the hammer back here. Some fouling pops out from the nipple cones, and it will coat this hammer. It'll coat that with fouling, and it'll work its way down in here, so that will start to gum up too. And that wasn't good for it, by the way. I accidentally let the hammer fall on that, and you shouldn't dry fire these. It's not really good for them. So the Colt clone, or Confederate / Pietta / Colt, it's kind of ridiculous. This one ran the longest, and I'm going to show you why. I didn't do anything different. We were shooting the same loads, these guns were clean prior to taking them out to the range, and I use beeswax and Crisco to lubricate my cylinders and give some extra lubrication, so they tend to run longer that way. If you use no lubrication at all, after maybe 2 cylinders, you're going to start getting major fouling issues. So let me show you what's up with this one. What we're going to do is pop that wedge out. All right, we're going to pop the wedge out. Put it on half cock. All right, this one's really gunked up too. I don't know that this is going to show up really well on camera, but everything is pretty heavily fouled and coated with grease. There we go. All right, so here's the reason why this one worked the longest, and it's getting kind of gummed up too. The same issue with these. Fouling will work its way down into the hammer assembly and trigger assembly, and I can feel resistance when I pull this back now. So I'm going to need to take this down and clean it really good. You can see on the arbor grease buildup and fouling buildup. But the reason this one lasted the longest is because of this large central arbor on the Colts and Colt clones. This large diameter hole on the cylinder, this is much more forgiving with powder buildup. These ribs on the arbor can be lubricated with grease, preferably. Oil just won't stay. Oil will work itself out, but if you grease this lightly, then that's going to let your it's going to keep your cylinder turning much longer. And I mean, this was in really good shape as far as that goes. That's an advantage of the Colt clones versus the Remingtons. And just for comparison's sake, look at the axial points on these cylinders, and you'll see that the Colt is much larger. That doesn't mean the Remington is bad. The new model Armies were a step up, and as guns began to evolve and go to smokeless powder and everything, those were much more pressure, much more powerful loads than black powder. So the top strap was crucial in the evolution of revolver designs. And of course, that became the standard. Open tops, there were open top conversions, and Colt did make some open tops up until the 1873 Colt. It's called the Peacemaker, you know, the 1873 Army had a top strap. Basically kept this design down here from this part was good. Colt did well with this design, but he did go to a solid frame instead of this frame that comes apart. And that's just an evolution in the design, you know. This was good for its day. It has its drawbacks. When you're shooting black powder, fouling, always going to be an issue. So what we're going to do now, and I won't bore you with this, but we have to clean all this. Soapy water is always my go-to. I get the parts and I scrub them really good with soapy water. I always remove the percussion nipples from the cylinder and clean that. It's a process and it takes a while. You know, shooting is just half the battle. Then it's cleaning that takes the rest of your time with these. But we're going to get them all cleaned up. Going to put some light oil on them, some Ballistol, and you know. And then lastly, I'll clean the Ruger, the Mark I. It'll be easy compared to the rest. But these Mark I's, I might do a separate video just on the Ruger Mark I. How they take down is interesting, and some people get frustrated and they don't clean them, and that's why they become unreliable. And when I got this pistol, it was having some jamming issues until I took it down and cleaned it really good, and now it's just like a brand new gun. This pistol was made in 1954, 1955-ish, and it's been used. You can see the bluing is worn off of it, and you know, it wasn't just a gun somebody put up somewhere. It was used, but I don't think they were cleaning it properly, and so it was starting to have some issues. But maybe we'll save that for a separate video. So I'll end this video with a few just fun clips of my son shooting the pistols, and appreciate you watching. Please like, share, and subscribe my videos. I try to do fun videos, informative. Cap and ball shooting is one of my passions. I really enjoy shooting these dirty old guns and just keeping the spirit alive. And I enjoy sharing it with my son as well, because that's the future of this shooting hobby. So please share with younger people. Teach them what you know. Teach them safety. And we'll keep this sport going for decades to come. All right, guys. Thanks.